welcome back to the Friends of Zeus podcast. This is episode number 183. Is that right?
Nice.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Tonight, Mike is going to steer the ship. Let's get rid of all the formalities.
Yeah. Steering it.
And I guess with that being said, Mike, why don't you tell us what we're talking about tonight?
Yeah. And isn't that the question? So I thought that tonight there's a question that's kind of a little thing I've been wanting to talk about and seemed like it was a good opportunity. But I would say in total, kind of the topic is obviously the Democrat National Convention that's going on, but not so much the convention itself, but just sort of the news we're getting from it and how it's being portrayed and the race and where we're at right now, less than 3 months out from this election. We have been assiduously avoiding political topics on the Friends of Zeus podcast lately. We've been doing people we want to talk to in heaven. What else do we do? Like favorite somethings. But even with everything going on, we've been trying to steer clear. But tonight we're going head first, right into the wall. We're going right into it. So I guess I'll start with, have you guys watched, or do you care, or what's your opinion on the convention that's going on right now? Just as a quick going around status report.
I just don't have the fortitude to sit through it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. How about you, Des? You were shaking your head. No, I think.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, no, that's very healthy. How about you, Tom?
Yeah, bits and pieces of it. I'm just mainly checking in just to see how they do it, how they pull it off, the production value, just how they kind of present themselves, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of I'm not getting a lot of entertainment value out of it, but from a news perspective, I like to watch it just to see what they're doing, what they're up to.
yeah. I was before we started the show, Tom and I were talking, and I was saying I watched a little bit last night intermixed with the Orioles Mets game, and it's hard to take a lot of the convention at any given time, and it just is not enjoyable to watch it. Um, so anyway, we have this presidential race coming up, and the thing of major concern is that we have a party in this country that's putting someone forward that no one has voted for yet. And that's bad enough. But when you look in the press, when you look at this, stuff being reported on this convention, the convention itself, it's almost like they're already beyond that. I feel like there is and I don't say this lightly, but I feel like there's like this psychological warfare going on with with our press and the people and us, because we're so just beaten down and tired of all of it. And we're in the middle of this multi-billion-dollar media campaign to paint someone that we already know is a nincompoop as something else, as this, reintroducing or this new person. And look, I don't have a strong opinion about Kamala Harris one way or the other. I do think she's incompetent, and I'm not saying that from a political standpoint. She just doesn't strike me as a very smart person. But I am really disturbed at the lockstep marching that I'm seeing in the press in regards to her and how they're covering her. And it's disheartening. And on one hand, I'm like, this is the big fake. Like Trump's going to win 48 states, right? And we're going to look back at this and laugh. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I see her and I'm like, if she wins, I don't know what December looks like. I don't know what January and February start to look like, I mean, she is and has openly embraced Marxist ideals, lack of private property, confiscation of private property, confiscation of natural resources, things along those lines. And yet I come home and I still, play with my daughter. I want to like listen to some music and hang out and chat with my wife. And I'm like, in the meantime, I just feel like right back here with Mr. O'Rourke, there's all this weird stuff going on that's super heavy that no one can really get their head around. And I go to work and everyone's just acting normal. And I'm like, is it just, it just doesn't seem normal right now. Do you guys,
No,
what's your viewpoint? Like, what are you guys thinking? Where are you at?
I'm constantly in a state of anxiety, and the only constant thing is this political nonsense that's going on. Whether she needed to be voted in or not, I guess if nobody was willing to oppose, then there's no point in it. I don't know what the rules are behind that. It may be legal. You know what I mean? I would hope that it's not illegal and they're just trying to pass that on as well. So I'm assuming it's legal, but it does seem pretty damn hinky. Yeah, I can't deal with any of this stuff right now.
Mhm.
I'm like trying to block it out just to keep even keeled, you
Yeah,
know?
and I think that's a rational point of view. I mean, for me, the thing that's alarming to me, just to put a fine point on it, is, we've had elections, we've had candidates, we've had presidential elections, governors, senator, whatever, all this. But this, and I talk about the party, and we've been talking about this stuff forever on the show. But this is such an example of it's not about a person anymore. I mean, just the language, the rhetoric they're using, like passing the torch. I mean, this seems very much like North Korea, right? The one guy dies, and like his, son takes over, he's passing the torch, or it's an uncle, or in China, it's the next man up, or in Russia, like Yuri Andropov dies, and like they just they grab the next dude out of the museum and put him up there because it doesn't matter. He's just like a figurehead because it's like the party, it's the people behind it that are running things anyway. And it seems like the cat's out of the bag. To me, it seems like that's what the Democrat Party is now. Like, it doesn't matter if anyone voted for her. It doesn't matter who it is. They're just anointing her, no voters around, and yet we get to be lectured to about democracy. And the party and their press and the mechanism and the inertia and all of the push and the rhetoric is all to get her in. She hasn't done an interview. Do you guys realize that? This lady has not done an interview with the press since she quote unquote became the nominee. And I don't think she's planning on doing so. And the press isn't, these people that are supposedly journalists aren't stressing out about it too much. I mean, you hear a little bit here and there, but they're really not pressing her. So who in the hell is this person? It just feels like an installation. It doesn't feel like a race to me.
It feels like it's the Democratic Party is going to run the country and not.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like Venezuela or North Korea. It's weird. I've never experienced an election like this, but that's what it feels like. What do you think, Tom and Desiree?
I think.
Go ahead, Tom.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
It's
Hey, both
it's
you say
really
They're fighting to talk. Yeah.
Go.
Okay.
it's really odd. It is an odd feeling, and I think when Biden stepped aside, quote unquote, and they put in Kamala, it's like they were holding their breath, and she didn't fall flat on her face, and they were so relieved at that. And it's even now, it's like everybody's just kind of holding their breath, hoping that nobody finds out what a big phony she really is.
Hmm.
That seems like what's going on. It's like a charade, really. It's like an orchestrated, it's like we're watching a play,
Yeah.
and everybody's just kind of in step with it, and they're going along with it because it's weird that they hate Donald Trump so much.
It is.
They think that he's the epitome of evil. And we're looking at it the other way. We look at it like if Kamala wins, the country is over. And they look at it like if Trump wins, the country is over. It's so strange, this
And
country that we're living in like this.
I think that I don't think so much they hate. I mean, obviously, there's people that hate Donald Trump. I mean, he's just irrational. But
I'm not a huge fan of him.
right.
We know.
But you're not irrational about it. I don't think you think
No.
he's like Satan incarnate. But I'm saying I think the party doesn't like him because he's mucking up the plans, man. He's mucking up the
Right.
works, right? He's as he is apt to say, he's standing in their way. Like people like Mitt Romney and McCain and Bob Dole and all these guys that we've been dealing with, the rhinos and the establishment people on the Republican side, who's now kind of merging with the party. That's who they want. They don't want someone standing up there and saying things that are politically incorrect or counter to what the narrative is that they
They don't
want
want
to.
anybody stopping the wars.
Yeah, they don't want any. And the thing that I
It's
don't.
so wacky that not very long ago, in the grand scheme of history, Democrats were like peace, love, hippy dippy, and
Yes
now
and
it's
no. Yeah.
it's the flip of it. I'm not Republican, but I'm sure as hell not Democrat anymore.
I mean, again, I think part of it is we've been, and I mean, I'd like Desiree's perspective on this, but I mean, with being raised, when we were raised, there was definitely, the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, they were like caricatures, right? I mean, it was like Mr. Monopoly guy with the big cigar and the monocle on the Republican side, like, throwing children into a wood chipper. And then on the Democrat side, it was like hippies and whatever, Mother Tree. I mean, that's kind of the way it was set up. And I don't know if it was ever that, but I know it's not that now. Right now it's like people who are in control and then everyone else. And I don't care what you call them, Democrats, Republicans, I'm establishment, people who are in power do not want to let it go. And they've kind of gotten to the point where they may just pull it off. I mean,
That honestly, I don't have a good feeling about this election.
yeah, to me, it's a difference of a cataclysmic thing or Trump wins and we buy a few more years.
No, I'm saying
there's still going to be a cataclysmic thing.
I don't think he's going to win at this point unless something.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? I'll leave it to the I don't know but he hasn't been super present in the news lately.
We're definitely getting fed a story, right? I mean, again, it's the old thing, like the media doesn't tell the story, they tell a story, right? I think Bongino says that thing. I've heard that a long time ago. So the story is that Kamala and Tim Walz are, they're new kids on the block, man. I mean, everyone forgets she's been vice president for 3.5, 4 years. Like they have been in power, right? They have a history and they're completely rewriting it right now. And again, they may pull it off. So do you have, I'm going to jump into something, Desiree, but I want to see if you have anything before we jump to something, what you have to say.
I just really don't understand how anybody can sit back and be like, yeah, that's totally how things go. One president steps aside and then that's who we vote for the next time. It's like, say what we say when we say it.
I mean,
like, how is nobody like, hold on. There's something weird here.
Mm-hmm.
Can we ask some questions? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't understand. And the other thing I don't understand is not one, and I'm basing this off of TikTok. I'm going to base this off TikTok because that's how you take the temperature of the world, it seems like.
Yeah.
And, I don't very often get TikToks of like liberal things every once in a while, but if you just liberal TikTok, you can just scroll. But no one's questioning how this transition of power, we'll say, happened and how it happened and why is that okay? Is that how things are supposed to go? And also, like, seriously, and this has been for years, how is nobody questioning how, and 4 years ago, she was the what is it called? DA. The DA of California acting one way, the vice president acting another, and then this way the candidate acting another.
Yeah.
Like, how are you three different persons in one person? I don't understand.
Have you heard that laugh? She's clearly schizophrenic.
And she's not even putting it forward. It's being written for her. Right?
Sure,
I mean, she's not even
I mean,
saying, she's reading, she's playing a role.
Again, say what we say when we say it.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how people aren't questioning this. And it feels bad that maybe the reason that they aren't is because of the fact that she's a woman and that she's a woman of color, and that shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's such a weak.
There shouldn't
point.
be. I mean, I'm a woman, and I don't necessarily think just because she's a woman that she deserves to be president.
And that's the scary thing. And it's been women I'm talking to, and I understand that there's room for bias there, but enough women that I've talked to are like, why do you want her? I'm like, I'm all about woman president. Again, I've said it before, Tulsi Gabbard would be a phenomenal candidate, but not Kamala. It has nothing to do with her being a woman. She is a buffoon.
It seems to me
like, but to my point, they're like, well, it's a woman. I'm like, that cannot be
who cares?
What drives you to vote for somebody.
Yeah.
I am perfectly fine with a woman president. Perfectly fine.
Anyone would be.
We have seen a viable candidate recently in Tulsi. I mean, she shows that there are women out there that are capable of being kind of badass, smart as a whip, talks about issues and not about the latest trends. It's almost like we're like the political cycle is just TikTok. It's like what's popular today. We'll talk about that and get in their heads that way.
It's almost for me personally, it's like two things. It's my own perception, and then I try to have a perception of like what the body politic is thinking. And in this election, like most, I know exactly what I think. Like I have no questions at all. Like I see the field clearly. I understand whose players are. I know the stakes. I know the policies. I know the points. I could debate either side. Crystal, totally clear, no question. What I have no idea of is what my fellow American citizen is thinking. Because I believe that propaganda is very powerful. It's been proven. That's why people do it. We are in the midst, as someone that finds this stuff interesting, there is never, in August of 2024, we are being hit with more propaganda right now than any time in our entire lives. Period. I mean, they aren't even trying to hide it anymore. I mean, it's disturbing. I mean, like when I was watching the convention, I was just like, I mean, they're bringing up the both, like good people on both sides thing again. They're bringing up Trump saying soldiers were suckers and losers
and suckers.
The Crockett or whatever her name is brought up the PP tape. I'm like, what? Am I in an alternate tape? From the Russian from the dossier, the PP tape from Russia? That supposedly he had prostitutes pee on a bed in a hotel because Obama had stayed in that room years earlier. I mean, completely bananas. I mean, this was like 8 years ago. I mean, but they're still, and this is the Democratic National Convention, and I'm like, this works. Like that's why they're doing it. Like they could pull this off. Like it's like in baseball, the hidden ball trick, instead of throwing the ball back to the pitcher, the second baseman holds on to it, and then when the guy takes the lead, he hits him, and you're like, there's no way that's going to work. And it's like, it fucking works. I mean, like they're figuring it out. It works. So this was the point of that I'm bringing, and we'll do a little slideshow here. I've been thinking, like, who are these people? In other words, I look at people in the press and I'm like, okay, you got your Jake Tappers, you got your Rachel Maddows, you got, our disinformation governance board lady that we did an episode on. She's still around. Washington Post, New York Times, NPR. We got all these. I'm like, who are these people? Andrea Mitchell, Joy Reid, that are just like propagating this crap. But then I was like, it's not them. Like, who's above them, right? Like, let's look at MSNBC. Like, who goes to work with their little like sandwich bag every morning, sits down at the desk and be like, I'm working at MSNBC. I'm in charge of, like, who are these people? And who are the people that own MSNBC? And what is that corporation? And who's on the board of directors there? Who are these people? Do they understand what's going on? Do they agree with it? Are they oblivious to it? Or they're like, look, man, I'm a numbers guy. This is a talent thing. I'm not involved in that. I don't care. I mean, they have children. They have investments. They live in a town. They see the effect that these things are having. So, as a service to our viewer out there, I did a little deep dive.
He did a public service, kids.
I did a public service. And we're going to
owns them.
We're going to start here. I just wanted to use this as the opening slide.
Fucking birds again.
It's a fucking birds again, man.
It flies, it spies.
Is that what it is? Or if it
flies, it spies.
If it flies, it spies. So you can go back in our catalog, and what episode was that? Like 170 something? Wasn't that long ago. All right. So trust me, I don't know if there's a payoff on this, but this is going to be a little bit of reading and stuff. But I kind of want to go through this process and just kind of like lay it out, kind of what I'm thinking. So, in this country, we have something called freedom of the press. It's the part of the First Amendment. There is no amendment about the freedom of the press. It's the First Amendment includes freedom of the press. It includes right to free assembly, petitioning your government if you have grievances, exercise of religion, exercise of free speech, and a free press. And what a free press is supposed to be is a group of people who legally are given a little bit of wiggle room in the libel laws, and their job is to hold the government and hold elected leaders to account. We can't get on the phone and call Jamie Raskin, but these people hang out at the Capitol. They see Jamie Raskin. They can ask him a question, and then hopefully they'll be asking a question that's a question that we, the people, would want to ask. Maybe Desiree has a question, and this great reporter asks Jamie Raskin, and he's like, okay, here's the answer. That's not what we have right now. What we have right now, we have people who are behaving as the press, but they are in lockstep with the people that they are supposed to be holding accountable. So you have the Fox watching the hen house. I mean, it's basically what we're dealing with. Sorry, I've got a cough right now. And then I'm supposed to be reading. But then again, this is what I just said. Purpose of free press is to inform and protect the citizenry from tyranny. And again, I wrote all this. I didn't copy paste this. This is like 100% Michael here. And again, the reason it was enshrined in the Constitution is that it's that important. We rely on We have jobs that we do. We go to work. We do stuff. We have kids that go to school. We have hobbies. We shouldn't be having to spend all this time keeping an eye on the Congress critters. That's why we have a press, so that they do it. So what happens when they stop doing their job? I would make the argument you get what we get right now, what we have right now. I don't think anyone believes we have a free press right now.
Well, why would I go out and look for information when it gets hand delivered every morning for me to spew out?
Right, but who's delivering it? That's the point.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that they're getting handed the news.
They're getting handed it.
For it.
So our press, and again, we've used this term, has basically become a party press. It's not a mechanism of informing people. It's a mechanism of control and manipulation. It's the wolf in sheep's clothing. It's wearing this, like I said, the cloak of righteousness while disrespecting its own purpose and disrespecting us at the same time by not giving us a clear view of what's going on.
I mean, so remember our episode on the bombs that were found in front of the DNC and the RNC?
Yeah.
That should have been much bigger news.
Yeah.
And it may have even been against the Republicans. Maybe they were behind it.
Who knows?
I don't know, but I get the sense that it was probably not. It was probably something on the left. I don't know who. I'm not even saying like the party, the Democratic Party, but supporters of that party. It was fucking suspicious. A bomb at both places. That sounds like such a plan B situation. If this happens, we do it here. If this happens, we do it there.
And there have been people that have investigated this, and we mentioned them in that episode and quote them. The problem is they're not getting picked up by the larger media, because the larger media is not interested in that story or in getting to the bottom of the story. And the big story, we have someone running for president that was at the DNC headquarters that morning.
They say, we don't know.
No, I think we know that I could be wrong, but I think we know she was there just from the record. She was she was a senator. She's going to be vice president. But my point is, she's never answered any questions about that morning, about what was going on. Why was she there? Donald Trump had an attempted assassination. This was an attempted assassination against someone who was running for vice president at the time. If you're to believe everything, she was in a building. There was a bomb that was 20 feet. I've taken pictures there. I've shown you guys the pic. It was like right where the cars are. Anyway, so who is the press? A lot of people, you get these people like Jake Tapper, Rachel Maddow, and they're like, I'm a journalist, right? It's like, whatever, man. Anyone can. There is no official accreditation constitutionally to be a member of the press. You have citizen journalists. You have independent press, you have the corporate press, you have all kinds of, anyone can be, we are basically a type of press. We're a type of media, doing the Friends of Zeus show.
Yeah.
It's not like medicine, engineering, or law where you need a degree to practice it, right? You can read.
Or even research, or.
You can research on this shelf right over here. I have the Associated Press style book, right? It's like how you're supposed to write a news story. I know that book inside and out, inverted pyramid, all that stuff. Anyone can write a news story and do it properly. So in other words, these people, they want to make it seem like they have some kind of shine on them, right? Like they're some sort of special. They're not. You're either reporting the who, what, when, where, and how, and why, and you're getting sources, 2, hopefully 3. And you are putting your good name on that story so that when someone reads it, they're like, Tom wrote this. Well, Tom doesn't fuck around. I know that this is probably legit, right? And Tom has a career of decades writing, and you're like, it's Tom. You know what I mean? But we don't have that now. We have people that don't use sources. Everything's anonymous. We don't even know who these people are. like they're 20 years old. I don't even know what's going on with half these people.
But it's like,
Anyway,
and
yeah,
then some of them sell out. Like Geraldo. I remember when Geraldo was like kind of fucking cool. Like investigative journalism, doing some real reporting. And then just at some point he became just another cog in the machine. And I'm leaning towards he's far more left than he is.
I mean, he did do a lot of investigative stuff. I mean, I
I
don't
mean, there
know
was some
enough.
stupid stuff like Al Capone's
Right.
vault,
But
but
he,
you know,
I mean, he's definitely of, another time. What we have these days, we have people who are come up and they're on TV and they get a job in an administration as a press spokesman, or you have someone that is a general in the administration. He's Joint Chiefs something, right? And then the administration ends, and then he goes and becomes like a military advisor to CNN or something. And then you have people who are politicians whose spouses uh, are quote unquote talking head news people. So there's this incestuous now that wasn't always like this, not when we were kids, of people in the establishment in Washington who are married into fathers of, daughters of, sons of, mothers of people who are like over the fence. And these are the people that are supposed to be, they're supposed to have a not confrontational necessarily relationship, but it's supposed to be an adversarial relationship between the press and elected officials. That's what you want. You want it to be frank. You want it to be like this. What we have right now is like this. It's like a handshake, and we're the odd ones out. We're the ones that are getting screwed.
Right. But Mike, I
Yeah,
mean, so you're not saying nobody's telling them what to say, right?
yeah. I don't
I
know
don't
how.
think they are. 'Cause I think
I don't think they need to. I don't think they
they're all
need to
on the
tell them.
same team, right?
Correct.
It's like if you put like a Dodgers fan on NBC and a Dodgers fan on CBS and a Dodgers fan on ABC, they're all going to say good things about the Dodgers. You don't have to tell them what to say. They're all just going to talk positively about the Dodgers. They're all supporting the same team. I think
They're
that's kind of what's happening.
yes. I don't. I'm not. I don't think that there's like some overarching like puppet master, right?
Right.
I know there are things called talking points.
Yeah.
Rush did the whole thing with the gravitas. That was the first time I ever heard that with George Bush. He did that clip. This was like back in 2000 or something. Like, oh, Bush lacks the gravitas, and Limbaugh put this clip reel together, and it was like in 1 week, it was like 40 mentions of the word gravitas, a word no one had even heard of the week before, right? So, but yeah, I'm not saying they're all.
They still put out talking points
They
to
put
this
out
day, but
talking
nobody's
points.
twisting their arm.
No, no, no. This is not under duress.
Right.
What the issue, and again, what this slide gets to, people can have whatever opinion they want. I don't care. You can be the idea that journalism has to be down the road, middle of the road. Like that's not the way journalism has always been. There's been newspapers in our past that were called the Democrat, or they were called, and they were like, this is the view from the party. But they were like, we are the paper of the local Buffalo, New York Democrat Party, or we are the paper of record for, the Whigs or whatever. But what right now what we have is we have these corporations that are running the media who are like, look, we're Mother Teresa, man. We're just like old gumshoes out there with the little press card in our hat. We're just delivering right down the middle, man. We're just delivering you like cheeseburgers of even Steven knowledge. And that's not what's going on. They're pulling it. They're pulling an operation on us. And I think some people know it. Some people suspect it. A lot of people have no clue what's going on. These people, these businesses, they are not in the business of trying to inform the population. They're in the business of trying to control and manipulate the population. And until you, and I don't mean you guys, I'm just saying the royal you, whoever, until you understand that, you're just going to hit your head against the wall, not understanding what's going on right now. There are, in our country, in our world, but specifically in our country, all of the stuff that you see, that you read, I'm talking books, I'm talking music you listen to, TV, entertainment shows, news, movies,
Dude,
whatever, are all controlled by like 5 corporations. I'm talking everything you see and hear on a daily basis that's not coming out of someone else's mouth.
if there is any question that the Olympics are owned and run by the U.S., there should be no more questions at this point. There was so much of our politics involved in this last Olympics. I couldn't even watch it. Like after that Last Supper thing, I was done. I was like, I can't do this. I watched a little bit of gymnastics because Simone Biles is the shit. But you know, the could be or may or may not be a man, 2 of them, men fighting in women's sports. That's right down our alley here in the US. It was so contrived. It was quite frankly disgusting.
I don't understand, and we're going to get into Comcast and MSNBC here in
But
a
I
second.
mean, do you remember like maybe 5 or 6 of them ago, Muhammad Ali lighting the torch? It was a ceremony.
He had
This
Parkinson's.
was a fucking off-Broadway fucking policy piece. I don't know what you would call it, but I was really offended by the Olympics this time around. I don't know about you guys. What do you think?
I mean, I didn't watch a ton of it, but I am interested just from a societal standpoint that in the midst of everything else that we're dealing with right now, that this every 4 years, every 4 years for the summer, every 4 years for the winter, although they stagger them now 2 years apart. It's this huge celebration of meritocracy, right? I mean, going for the gold, who can win, who's not.
Yeah, it's not about the athleticism anymore. It's
but what I'm saying is there's no DEI in the Olympics, right? And it's celebrated because we know as human beings it's a natural thing. I'm not an athletic person. I know you guys may want to sit down, but I'm just saying. But I love watching people do things, and whether it's athletics or tradesmen or whoever, nurses. I love watching people do something that they're good at. And that's that's the draw of the Olympics. You got these people that spend their whole lives learning how to do something, and they're the best. Like I feel like being like, yay, humans, like, man, humans rock. Look at that. Humans can do this. Whatever. It's awesome. And they celebrate it. And then the Olympics is over and they go right back to the non-meritocracy stuff. It's like schizophrenic. I don't understand. But okay.
And like the subtle things in our commercials now where people are overtly one thing or the other, like it's apparent that they're placing people in a commercial because they're of one belief system or just there's these subtle little this will make people happy kind of vibes, and to me it's apparent, I don't know.
Well,
I'm quite distraught. I really am. Constant.
I mean, even to the point of you look at a company, CNN's owned by AT&T. Their ratings are horrible. They're losing money. They've been through like 3 CEOs in the last like 4 years. They're shedding talent. And yet they're still doing their thing. And when you have social media and these feeds on Facebook and Yahoo News and all these that people just get on their phone, it doesn't matter if like there's only two people watching CNN, because in social media, that CNN feed is going out to more people than they would ever have watching them on terrestrial cable or streaming services. I mean, it's almost like they're a content creator for social media, and there's like not even any free market controls on them anymore. Like they don't
So
even have to make a profit, and they're still. So it gets me thinking, like, this is where I'm saying, like, who are these people? In other words, you have a company whose ratings suck, who they launched. Remember, they launched like CNN Plus or whatever, that streaming thing, and then it just crashed and burned like 6 months later because they had like no one viewing it. And yet they're still doing this. So why? Why? Like, what other business does that? It's because they're not in the business of informing people. They're in the business of manipulating people. And there's people in the background that make a lot of money on this and have a lot of vested interest in controlling how we feel about things. I mean, to your point, Zeus, you said earlier on, you said, well, Kamala could win this. I don't know that you would have said that 3 months ago. I mean, the Democrat Party didn't say that. They were trying to throw her overboard. They said back in March that she was a drag on the ticket. That was what the Democrat Party was saying. And now you have a feeling that she could win. It's like, where could it be that that's what we're hearing 24/7 throughout every single source of input that we have, subtle and
so
forceful?
I have a practice at work. We have a little dining room for the nurses. We have a nurses station, and then we have like this little break room. And we have a big screen TV in there. And I go in there and it's always on CNN. So whenever I go in, I just change it over to Fox to fuck with people. But
And they're probably like, who's doing that?
but sure as hell, I come back 15 minutes later, it's back on CNN. So
Did you put it back on Fox?
of course,
No.
of course.
I mean,
you guys know me.
and look, Fox has a take. They all have a take. That's the thing that I find frustrating is people are like, well, so and so is biased, right? I'm
I
like,
just
that's
want
fine.
Why is Fox News, CNN News, whatever, unless it's the local whatever news, why is that on in your break room?
Yeah, good point, Desiree.
I don't know.
Like, it doesn't need to be.
Why is it on at the airport?
Fucking need to be.
It's just noise.
I
can see
just
at the
do
airport
that
or
as an
whatever, but like at
antagonistic.
work, man, I don't.
Yeah, why is it even on? No, that's a good point. But I see
Put it
that
on
in
Barney
businesses
next
I
time.
go into. I'm sorry?
Put it on Barney next time.
There you go.
I feel like everybody wants to feel involved, so that's how they do it.
Well,
listen
then do
to-
it at home. Work
What's
is
that?
not the place. Do it at home then. Work is not
I
the place
agree.
for your fucking political
Yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's just how I think about it.
no, absolutely, Desiree. I 100%. Yeah, it's definitely not the place for it.
I don't watch the news. If I'm sitting in there, something's on, I might give it a glance, but it's
Just turn it off. Turn it off next time.
Isn't the weather the most useless thing? I mean, this
Put the
past
weather on.
weekend,
Put it on the weather channel.
but even the weather, they can't even get that right, man. It's never right. It's never right. Like if you plan your life around the weather report, you are going to be disappointed. I'm just saying. You might as well just go out there and wing it because they're never right. So just to keep the train moving, because we're gonna open this back up after I get through this slog through
By
this.
the way, I like that saying by Mark Twain. Never trust a man that buys ink by the barrel.
Never pick a fight with
Yeah.
people who buy ink by the barrel. Yeah.
That's great.
Why? I don't get it.
In other words, when he wrote this, it was obviously during printing press times. So if you're Desiree, you don't want to pick a fight with somebody that owns a newspaper because they have the ability to frame a story however they
okay.
want, and you just have one voice, right? But they have like a whole network. So I'm not trying to just dump on MSNBC or Comcast, but I had to pick one. I'm not going to go through everybody, but I just thought it was kind of interesting to kind of peel back the curtain a little bit on this company. Um, Comcast is an enormous global company. In the US, I think they're the third or fourth largest communications company. They have interests in cable, in internet, in movies, in TV, in print, in you name it. Now this I did not write. This is from Wikipedia. And again, yeah, fourth largest broadcasting and cable television company in the world, behind China Mobile, Verizon. Verizon used to be Bell Atlantic for all of us here on the East Coast.
Kill
And
Kennedy.
I'm sorry?
They killed Kennedy.
Yeah. And then and AT&T. So again, ginormous company. And this company, when I watch a station like MSNBC, which is, I mean, to anyone that has any self-respecting journalist or someone that appreciates journalism as an institution, has to hate MSNBC. You just can't be into journalism as an industry and also like you cannot have those two things at the same time. So I'm just like, why is this big company that's got, makes what, 30-60 billion dollars a year in profits, why do they have this little station that makes no money, and why do they make such a big deal about keeping it around? So if you look
Purpose is
here,
not to make money.
yes, that's what I'm getting at. So here's Comcast mothership right here where my mouse is going around. This isn't even the whole thing, right? This is just a basic flow chart that someone put together. This is all their interests that go out. And NBC Universal, and NBC comes off of that. Telemundo, here's MSNBC, here's their shows, here's like different websites, Fandango, CNBC, Peacock, which is a streaming service, DreamWorks, which is motion picture, Universal, Focus Features, Sky, that's like foreign news, Australia, such and so forth, Xfinity, you have cable television, sports teams. I didn't even know that they were part of the Philadelphia Flyers. My point is, this is not the corner store. This is not a mom and pop, right? It's a ginormous corporate organization that has its paws in a lot of different things. So you look at MSNBC, and on what I did was I just listed these. This is their lineup every day. From early in the morning, you've got Lee Meyer, you got Morning Joe with Brzezinski and Geist. And these are all the people they have. Joy Reid, Jen Psaki, again, the incestual relationship. Obviously, you guys know she was like the press spokesman for Biden for the first couple years. Now she works for MSNBC. What coincidence? Ari Melber, Joy Reid, who's a disaster, Rachel Maddow. Anyway, all these people. Now, those are the people that you see on MSNBC. These are the people that run Comcast, and thereby also run or are responsible for hiring these people. So these people are hired by these people. So who are these people? We don't know who these people are. I know this guy up here.
Interesting that such a liberal company, I don't see a single, maybe one person of color.
Yeah, no, it gets
two.
This guy here. Well, these are just executives. I'll get to this. This is just a random set of like that work for Comcast. There's 10 times this many. This guy right here, he's the chairman of the board of directors. Now there's 9 other directors. So it's him and 9 other people. These 10 people, they're the ones that really run the shit. These are the people that run the shit. And these are these people. We don't even know who these people are. These people who work on the board of directors at Comcast are responsible for hiring the people and paying the people who create the content of probably 25% of what goes in your brain every day in public. These 10 people. Again, BrianLRoberts, he's the CEO. His dad started Comcast. So it's actually a family company in some regards. I mean, it's publicly traded, but his father was Ralph Roberts, started it in like the 60s. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I just highlighted certain things. So this is Novak. He's down here near the bottom. That's him. Seems like a nice guy. He used to be the CEO of Yum Brands. That's like Taco Bell and Kentucky Fried Chicken. They used to run the Triple Crown, the Preakness, the Belmont, the Kentucky Derby, all that stuff years ago. You got this guy, Asuka. Again, these are all either companies they used to work for, but in a lot of, when I read through these are companies they still work for. Like these guys, this level, when you get to this level, the C level of a company like Comcast, and you're on the board of directors, it's not just with one company. You can be on the board of directors of like 5 different companies. And they have all these different relationships. Again, Wharton School from the University of Pennsylvania, that's the same business school Trump went to. A lot of these companies I don't know. I know CBRE, that is a commercial real estate firm, probably one of the biggest ones in our country. Got this lady, WonyaLucas. She used to be again, this is the board of directors, and it's made up of people who were CEOs from other large companies. So this lady who's a director, she's not a CEO of Comcast. She was the CEO of Hallmark Media Networks. She was also CEO of public broadcasting in Atlanta. TV1, if you're familiar with DC, that's a local. She's involved with Atlanta Braves ownership. Again, Children's Hospital, Sundance Institute.
Got money.
I'm saying these are all the stuff she's involved in. This guy was a CEO, Pepsi Cola, American Beverage Association. This guy was involved. He was a CEO, Chief Executive Officer of DuPont, just that little chemical company you guys may have heard of in Delaware. Tyco International, one of the largest manufacturers in the world. Motorola, one of the largest manufacturers of communication devices in the world. General Instrument, just little stuff like that. Piedmont Capital, Wells Fargo, Vice President of Investments at Wells Fargo, Children's Hospital. Again, these are accomplished people.
Connected too.
And connected. Kenneth Bacon. Oh, look, he's from Fannie Mae. He retired in March 2012, about 4 or 5 years after the huge debacle we had in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Ally Financial,
go fuck themselves.
Yeah, likewise. I'm with you. Now here's Big Dog. This is BrianLRoberts. He's the CEO. Again, Wharton School, University of Pennsylvania. He was on President Obama's Council on Jobs and Competitiveness. I highlighted this one in red because I didn't get too far into this one. Advisory board on, and I can't pronounce it, Tsinghua University School of Economics and Management. That is a business school, the most elite, the number one, the Harvard of China, based in Beijing, that has where all their numero uno students go. Again, it's like the Harvard Business School of China. And this guy's an advisor there. And I started looking, and China pays big bucks to a lot of Western CEOs and people that run in these circles to be quote unquote advisors, teachers, and such and so forth in China. I found that very interesting. Oh, and he's good at squash. So that's good. These are the biographies right off of Comcast's website. That's where I got this. This is not from Wikipedia.
What's squash?
It's a game. It's like
Or like tennis.
like tennis. So the long exercise, it wasn't just because I wanted to highlight some stuff and show you pictures of these people, although I was interested just to see that there's people behind this. Again, these are the decision makers. When you say why is this news coverage? Why am I watching Joy Reid and it's total garbage and she's lying and all? Like, how do they let her on? These are the people that are doing it. These 10 people, these are the ones that are responsible for that. They are the one. That's where the buck stops. But the reason I wanted to pull this up with all this highlighted stuff, these are accomplished, probably incredibly intelligent, connected people. Do you think they don't understand what's going on? Do you think they don't understand the operation that MSNBC is and what it's doing?
I don't think so. I don't think that
you think they don't
have that much
understand that?
control. No, think of okay. I'm just gonna say this.
Maybe.
Zeus. Think
Yeah.
of the CEO of your hospital.
What's that?
Guy, think of the CEO of your hospital. Just to put it on a smaller scale. Do you think that guy knows a fuck about what's going on
Nah.
in the hospital? No, doesn't care, to be honest. You ever see like
He's
news
just moving
stories?
chess pieces.
Yeah, you always see those the stories on about like your hospital that come out and you're like, that's not fucking true. But the CEO thinks that everything's just going great because that's what some fucking article said. They have no idea. And that's any company. I bet you the CEO of Coca-Cola is probably has no idea what the new Coke flavors are. Has never even tasted them.
No, look, even
Doesn't
if
even know what the name of the latest one is. You know what I mean? Like these CEOs have no fucking idea what's going on. And it's really the people that are like 2 levels below them that are really making the choices.
What I'm saying is, but they do have, in my view, it's a matter of opinion, they do have accountability because the buck does stop with them. So whether they don't know what the day-to-day operations are, I mean, the person who's the CEO of Zeus's hospital isn't responsible for gaslighting 300 million people in our country to believe something that's not true. So it's a little bit different level. And the point that I'm giving them the kudos of their accomplishments and their intelligence. And they turn on the TV, they see what's going on. They have children, I'm sure. They have loved
They
ones.
don't. Nah. See, I'm gonna just.
So does that let them off the hook, though? I mean, I'm surprised.
I honestly think I do not think that these people have any. They are completely Republican. They're not. I mean, honestly, yeah.
I don't know. I didn't deep dive
I'll
that
go
much.
as far as to
I'd
say
like to find out.
I'll go as far as to say that, yeah, the buck may stop with them, but these guys are like fucking Catholic priests in the.
They don't even know what the buck is.
If things fall short, they just go and become board of directors somewhere else.
But would you say, let's go back up here. Would you say that Asuka here, with all of his boards that he's on and all that, would you say that CBR, I can't tell you how big this company is, CBRE, don't you think these people are part of what we would call the establishment? And like when we talk about like the establishment versus everyone else?
No, I don't think so.
You wouldn't put these people in that, like all these connections they have?
If you look at these things, if you look at all these companies, they're not even similar companies. They're literally, so he went from Pepsi Cola to, I guess, the American beverage. Like, I guess that's kind of the same thing because one's beer, one's soda.
Yeah.
But like this guy, he went from DuPont to Tyco to Motorola to.
Well, that makes sense actually too. DuPont, oil, plastic with Tyco. There's connections there too.
Are these angels then? I mean, are these like who do we send our letter of discontent to?
Probably to the person just under them.
Yeah, I think like she's saying they're like mercenaries, is what.
Yeah,
well,
they probably are.
Here's the thing. We are all people that are doing okay, as far as our employment.
Right.
These people have had. I mean, they're probably not much older than us, excluding Desiree. And they've had, I'm looking at 10 jobs on this one, 10 on this one. So they go in, they get the job, they use that as social currency. Social capital, and then they go buy their job at the advisory board of Tsinghua University School in Economics and Management in China. They're nomads that have a lot of money and they
And
make
they don't know,
connections.
they don't even know anything. I'm sure they don't even know anything about the fact what that company. I mean, they might know like the mission statement of the company and like a few things they make, but honestly, these people are just going to be in CEOs, and they know how to.
Preach.
They know how to. I mean, I guess they're good at businesses. They're not. They don't care what the business's product is, but like how to make money is what they're good at. So yeah, if the CEO
but
of
MSNBC doesn't make money. That's the point.
And
That's
the one
what
thing,
my point
also,
is.
the thing you didn't mention
how do
about
they not make money?
MSNBC,
How do you not make money?
Their ratings are horrible. Like
but
if
they're
they,
not there. But CNN, MSNBC. First of all, MSNBC. The one thing you didn't mention is, do you know what the MS stands for?
Microsoft.
Yeah, who runs Microsoft?
I don't even think they're part of Microsoft anymore. It started as like a joint thing, but yeah.
Okay, well,
No, this is why I want to do it. I appreciate your guys' perspective because I don't know. That's why I'm asking these
I
questions.
feel like, yeah, I think whoever said that they're hitmen or mercenaries, that's really what they are. They go in, they start some bucket lists, they fucking, oh God, I hate that term.
I know.
They get rid, they clear house on this part and raise the the amount of money that the company is making because they fired 150 people, and then they move on. Whatever they did, good or bad, they move on and they're at the new place. And they got people to cover their asses back there because they're going to give them political clout within the company that they work for if they need to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm with Des. I don't think, I mean, I'm sure there's some good people out there. I firmly believe Elon Musk is one of them, you know?
I'm not saying these people aren't good people. I'm just trying to say, like, I'm just trying to say, when I see this coverage, like what we were talking about at the beginning of this episode, and I start thinking, like, why? Like, where is this all coming from? Well, my natural tendency is to go right up, see who's in charge, and see what their deal is.
But then why, Michael, why come along and get rid of Don Lemon or get rid of Cuomo?
Yeah, well, they've gotten rid of quite
I
a
mean,
bit,
you
actually.
talk about Joy Reid and how horrible she is.
Why not get rid of
But
her?
they do, I mean, I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
mean, at the end of the day, it is a business, and I don't think they just like tolerate anything. They do, if you start hurting the business, obviously they're gonna cut you loose.
Yeah. Again, I dived into it, and I think the next step I may write a letter or something just to ask. I'd love to get their perspective. Like, hey, are you guys aware of, or do you stand behind this comment that your employee
I would
made
argue
on
that
the air?
they don't even watch their channel or their
You
channel.
may be
I don't
right.
think they even watch
That's
TV.
even worse than what I was
It's
thinking.
raining.
Yeah.
I don't think they watch TV. I think they fucking work. Their addiction is work.
Look at the numbers, right?
Yeah.
And I think I tend to agree with Des because if they're doing all those things, like one day they're at the Comcast board of directors, the next day they're at the University of Rice. One guy was a Rice College board of directors. They just hop from thing to thing. How
Or
can
they're
they
on a
have
plane to
time? They're not
China,
really
or they're
dedicating
And they
themselves
don't
full
meet every
time to
day.
anything.
Yeah, it's not like they show up with their lunch bag at the skyscraper every morning necessarily.
They just check in, see
Yeah.
look at some charts and graphs, see what the numbers are, and then move on.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
and we've kind of gotten a little bit away from what we were talking about, but
no, it all kind of goes together. I mean, I'm cool with what we've. I mean, I appreciate your guys' input. I didn't think about it that way, and I'm going to.
I'm gonna say that there things are nothing less than insidious right now with everything. And that may even be with Fox and the right, because
I said I just used them as one example.
Tucker Carlson, that dude was a moneymaker for Fox.
Well, he lost him like $740 million in that lawsuit, though.
What's that?
He was one of the main people responsible for them losing that lawsuit. It was like $740 million.
I don't think they
Yeah,
had to
but
make that
he made
settlement.
that.
I don't
They
think so either.
that was a little premature.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that poor guy, he's gone bonkers since he's been off.
Carlson.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's talking weird angels or alien stuff. Like he's
Oh, we got to
It
get him
might
on,
be.
man.
what?
Yeah,
They might be. Who knows?
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
watch him. He was on Rogan a little while back. Watch it. He's
Sounds like a very smart, intelligent guy.
I agree that he's smart, but
I'm
he's
just
a little unhinged.
Yeah.
He seems a little unhinged now. But yeah, like I said, I was actually when I stepped away, I was like, I had to step away because I'm like, this is actually getting me anxious now.
Yeah. No, I know. And that's so it's all done. You can hang out here in the room for a while until you feel comfortable.
No,
Go
I'm
out,
good. I'm
see the,
good.
yeah.
I'm a soldier. Don't worry.
I mean,
I know.
Mike, is it all just kind of a hive mind sort of
Of
thing with the press? I mean, because
I
I don't know who's pulling strings, if and maybe nobody's pulling strings, but there's definitely a hive mind. There's an opportunistic sort of approach that they're taking right now. They're like, oh, we got somebody that's not dead. Let's just prop her up
right.
and get her across the finish line.
I think it is, there are definitely like any other organization or anything else, there are your true believers, there's the soldiers, and then there's the useful idiots, right? And most I think are useful
Full
idiots
idiots.
in the press. Again, we've talked about this before. There's this again, the incestual nature between government and media. And when I say media, I don't just mean news. I mean how the old canard about the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where or like DC is like Hollywood for ugly people, right? I don't know if you guys ever heard that before, but anyway, there's a lot of crossover. These people go to the same, uh, they all go to Jason's Bakery. They all go to the same places. They hang out. The kids go to the same schools. There is a mono thought. There are, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. I get this job, I'm going to bring you with me. It's a very insular social circle, which is, again, when you look at things, when we did the Project 2025 episode, which I thought was great, and I looked into a lot of stuff that Desiree was talking about, and there is a lot of bonkers stuff in there. But when they talk about,
Can you say that again?
there's a lot of bonkers stuff in there.
But the part you said right before that.
Oh, when I looked into
Officer
what you were saying,
Desiree.
what Desiree was saying. Yeah, I do, Desiree. I trust your opinion.
Desiree won.
I said
Your
some
opinion is
stuff
very
too. I said
important.
some stuff too. Come on
No,
now.
you did, but Desiree was very
But
harsh about it,
Desiree researched it.
which was good. But my point is their point in there, nothing's 100% good or bad, but their whole point in there about taking these agencies and these departments and spreading them out around the country, especially now that we have the internet and people doing stuff on Zoom, and you don't have to be, it's like if you don't have to go to the office, then why do you have to be in the same town? At a certain point, I think that would go a long way, Tom, to breaking that up. I think it's just incestuous. I think it's inbred.
Yeah.
I think it is psychologically inbred.
It's like a rising tide floats all boats, and they're all standing in the same pool,
Yeah,
peeing in the same pool to get the level of the water to go up.
yeah, and
Basically what they're doing.
I do think there are some maniacal people behind, but that's not the majority. That's the vast minority. You know what I mean? It's a super minority of people that
Yeah.
are really, like your Jamie Raskins, your Nancy Pelosi's, those people that are just whatever, I mean, just completely dishonest, not even trying to be honest with people. But yeah, I don't know.
You know what makes me fucking my stomach hurt and actually makes me want to vomit listening to? Oh my God, The View. Somebody should get them off the air. That's all I got to say about it.
Wait,
The
who?
View.
The View.
Oh, The View.
You ever heard some of the stuff that they say? Oh my God.
I try not to, but yeah. And
It's like a train wreck, you know?
Yeah, and that's another thing. So The View, that's on ABC. ABC is owned by Disney. Disney's one of the big four or five companies. And I could probably go down the list. Iger is the CEO. I'm sure they have a board of directors.
Have you guys heard? I'm probably going off subject a little bit, but have you guys heard like Trump was talking about some policies that he wanted to get through, like I think no taxes
Tips.
for tips and no more price gouging in the supermarkets. And then like 2 days later, he wanted to make it illegal to price gouge. I don't know how you define that, but sounds good.
I kind of thought that it would. Isn't that like what a monopoly is? No,
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
he said that. He did say the thing about no taxes on tips, but
then Kamala comes out and says the thing like it was her idea,
Stole it.
like 2 days later.
Completely.
But she won't answer any questions, so no one. I mean, look, when Kamala, people need to understand this. Like even the people way in the back, like you guys way in the back that can't even see us that well. When Kamala Harris is walking around refusing to do an interview, she's doing this to all of us. This is what she's doing. I'm Kamala Harris. This is what she's doing to everybody because she's running for president of the United States and she won't answer questions. And Zeus, who is a constituent, he's a citizen of the United States. He has a question of like, why did she do? Sorry, Zeus. She's too important. She's not going to answer your question, but please vote for her. That's the shit we're dealing with right now. I mean,
your problems aren't important.
And here's my thing. Everybody talks about, oh, I couldn't have RFK for president because I couldn't listen to that voice. I'm telling you right now, 4 years of that fucking cackle, I'm gonna climb a tower. That her laugh.
She hasn't laughed a single time since she took over. Not once. They won't let her laugh. She's pretty much staying on teleprompter.
Yeah.
There was one interesting moment the other day where she read
a coconut tree yesterday.
Wait.
Yeah, I think the coconut comment was prior to
early. Yeah, that was early. But what did she do, Tom?
Did you guys see the thing? She was reading a teleprompter and the teleprompter like glitched and it repeated the same thing 4 times. And so she just read it 4 times in a row. Did you guys see this?
No.
I did not. I got to look at that.
My favorite is when they're talking to her about the border and she's like, and you've never been to the border. And she goes, I've never been to Europe either. What the fuck?
Right. So that's off teleprompter. They gotta, as long as they keep her on the teleprompter and don't let her answer questions like that.
Here's the thing, and I've noticed this locally, statewide, nationally. The party, they obfuscate what they actually believe. They don't come out and say, hi, my name is Joe Biden, and I believe that we should have an open border, and I believe that people that come here should get Medicare, even though it's like super stressed out. And I also believe that, if you hold a patent for a certain medication that people need, that the government can like just take that patent from you. And, I believe in price controls. They never just come out and say that. They always lie. They always like talk around it. And that's the thing that drives me crazy. It's like, it's like almost, I have less of a problem with them being Marxist. I have more of a problem with them lying about it. Like, if they were just honest Marxists, I would have at least respect for them. But they know it's wacko. They know it doesn't sell. And so they lie. And they don't say what they really believe about stuff. And to Zeus's point, coming out with saying like, oh, I'm going to stop taxing tips. Where have you been the last 3.5 years? You're vice president of the United States. Why have you never mentioned this before? Oh, and by the way, Kamala Harris cast the deciding vote on the inflation, quote unquote, Inflation Reduction Act, which in it hired 87,000 more IRS agents to go after people that make tips. So, and then our press, like I know it because I read, but they don't say that. I mean, this is why I'm saying that's why I looked up the board of directors for Comcast, because I'm like, I got to put a face to this. Like, who is controlling this? Who's making these decisions? Maybe it's not them, but it's someone under them. And Desiree, you got to get closer to the mic because you're real quiet.
Oh.
Sorry.
Let's talk about this no tax on tips just for a second.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean? Does that mean that let's just say I'm a waitress, been a waitress before, I know how this works, but you make $100, okay? And at the end of the night, you have to declare it.
Mm-hmm.
$100.
Yeah.
Whether that be cash or on credit cards, $100.
Right.
Okay. So you're taxed as the server on that $100. So
correct.
Let's just say it's 10%. So I have to pay $10 to the IRS. I don't have to pay it. It comes out of my $2.13 an hour paycheck.
Yep.
Okay. That's what they're talking about. Don't tax those.
Not taxing the tips. Correct.
Okay. Well, okay.
It's a gimmick. I mean, it's totally a gimmick, but
it's going to get them. It's going to get a lot of those college kids and just turning 18, working at Domino's. Like, it's going to get a lot of those people. If they listen to her, voting for her. If they listen to Trump, voting for him. It is a gimmick. I
mean, I don't really think in the scheme of things, like, it's a good thing, I guess. Like, it's a good in theory, but to be honest, I never even saw a paycheck when I was a server. I didn't even care. I didn't even cross my eyes because that's where the taxes came out of. And if I mean, maybe my taxes were more than my paycheck was. I don't know. I never got told that they were.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I never declared anything that wasn't on a credit card. So there's that.
Yeah.
Prove it. Prove that cash.
To be honest, it's nice, but it's the least of my fucking concerns with the state today.
Yeah. So it's like, it sounds really good, but at the same time, it's like it's really not going to do anything for it. Maybe in places that you make that you do get an hourly wage on top. I mean, I don't know. I just don't think it sounds good. It matters zero in the amount of money you're going to make.
It's more to me, it's the hypocrisy of her saying that it was her idea when he had mentioned it 3 days earlier.
And she could have said it years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like, if you watch our media right now, you would believe, if you just woke up, you would believe that Kamala Harris is this brand new person that just came onto the scene and is running for president. She has no backstory, no history. Like, we don't already know her. And we do know her. And she's horrible. So it's like, I don't know, man. But it's like the same thing with the Hunter Biden laptop, right? So you guys see the poll they did where like 17% of people who voted for Biden were like, if I knew about that, I probably wouldn't have voted for Biden. Well, there's people out there that have no idea that Kamala Harris was, involved as being the main prosecutor in California, that she was involved in California politics, that she's a Marxist socialist. I mean, she is for price controls, which is the dumbest thing in the history of the planet. I mean, it literally, economics 101, price controls don't work. She's all for it. That was her whole speech on last Friday. I mean, she's a complete moron. But because we don't have a press that reports on it and tells people the truth, we have a lot of people out there that have no idea. And they're going to vote for her. And then come after the election, they're going to be, what? I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know about that.
And I always harken back to that awesome breaking down of her that Tulsi Gabbard did a few years back, where she's like, she prosecuted more people for marijuana, blah blah blah, and then she would hold off on getting people off death or being executed until the very last minute, until it was politically appropriate for her. And then didn't she say, like, all these people she prosecuted for marijuana, and didn't she say that she smoked marijuana?
Yeah.
It's fucking.
Yeah, dude, she's an empty pantsuit.
It makes me just tighten up, like.
Well, just in order so that Zeus doesn't put his head through a drywall piece, can we do, like, am I the asshole? Can we do one of those, or are we not prepared?
My name's Kamala. You're the asshole.
I mean, unless you guys have more to say on the subject, I feel like I got a lot off my chest. I'm sorry. I don't mean to use you guys for therapy, but I just wanted to kind of get it out there.
No,
Jeez,
this is
Mike, we
more
aren't
like the
better help.
ring. This is more like the ring. You watched the video, you just handed it to us, and now we got to carry
There you
it.
go. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I think I am going to write a letter though.
To who?
The board of directors at Comcast, just to see what happens. I've written them to Jamie Raskin before. Did I tell you guys about the one I wrote to what's her name? Maggie Haberman from the New York Times? And she
I
wrote
think
back
you
to
did,
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I kind of got to pee.
You can take a break.
Okay, let me just go to the bathroom real fast, and I got some.
And I can always cut this part out too, or not.
I'll be right back too.
This is the part where we talk about Desiree and talk about Zeus.
We're actually in the same house. We're going to drink a beer.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I think you should use that for the title, the Kamala, the empty pantsuit.
Let me write that down.
That's got to be part of the title.
The empty pant suit.
She does wear a lot of pantsuits, doesn't she?
And she wears the blue a lot, I noticed too.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know, man. It's like I don't like it when people lie to my face. And I feel like I think that's what's getting me. I just can't stand it. Drives me bananas.
Yeah. She also stole the so JD Vance had the $5,000 tax credit, child tax credit, because he wanted more babies and less childless cat ladies. So, after criticizing that incessantly about childless cat ladies,
right,
he comes out with a $6,000 child tax credit to have more babies and less childless cat ladies. So I don't know. She's just like any idea Trump proposes, she's going to use that too, and just just grab everything, just like any tactic to win. Is what it seems like.
They're going to do their best to hide her from everybody. They're just going to try and run out the clock at this point. Yeah, we lost Zeus.
I'm here.
Oh, he's back. All right. I think one or two of them, and then I'll get going after that. If you guys want to, it's already past time's bedtime here.
Are you ready?
Or Zeus's bedtime. Okay.
Okay. Let's find some.
All right.
Okay, here's kind of a funny one.
All right.
All right. Am I the asshole for lying to my husband?
Yes.
My husband, 31 male, and I, 30 female, have been together for 6 years and married for 3 years. When we first got together, he worked on the road and would come home for maybe 4 days every 4 to 5 weeks. He has been home and off the road for about a year now, and we are starting to figure out how to coexist with each other. We've lived 2 separate lives with him working off. We have lived 2 separate lives with him working off, and we have thrown a wrench into each other's daily routines. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
He has a rule. If it's empty, he has a rule. If it's in the pantry for 3 days, it's fair game, unless specifically told otherwise. I don't mind this rule as I have always had trouble letting the last of food go to waste. Childhood drama and working on it. The only thing that rule doesn't apply to is ice cream. He loves ice cream. It's his favorite breakfast, lunch, and dinner time snack. I have opened the freezer many times wanting some, and it will be gone 15 minutes after I get it home from the store. The one thing that he doesn't like is mint. All things mint are off the table to him, including ice cream. The other night I was enjoying a Klondike bar that had mysteriously made it through the night. I offer him one, and he says, no, he doesn't like minty things. Klondike bars aren't minty. But they could make some, I don't know. But I didn't correct him, and I just finished eating my ice cream. Now I have a freezer full of Klondike bars that won't be touched. and I get to have all of them to myself because he thinks they're minty. I'm starting to feel a little guilty. Am I the asshole for not being honest and letting him think that they are minty?
No,
No.
no, not at all,
So
man.
that's his problem.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
doesn't know his
Doesn't
contact
know any
bars.
better. That's his problem.
I just don't understand how you're eating it. You see it, and it's not green in there. So why would you
Yeah.
assume it's minty?
There is like a white, like
There's-
Briar's makes that
there's
sort of
way-
white minty.
Yeah.
Briar's makes them.
I mean, maybe they have, I don't think so, but maybe they've made a minty Klondike bar. I don't think they have one, though. I
Like
think it's
peppermint.
just
Good.
What do you call
That
those
would be
ones?
good.
The peppermint,
peppermint
peppermint
patties.
patty.
The
Aqua
York
Fresh
peppermint
flavor.
patties. Do they have that in an ice cream?
Peppermint patties?
But
I'm
I'll
not
eat
sure.
That would be
frozen
good, too.
York
I'd eat the shit out of that.
patty.
Let me
I
just
mean-
say this.
Yeah.
I fucking hate when I have something in the fridge or wherever it may be. And I'm like, ooh. That. And then I go to get it and the box is still there, but
Oh.
nothing's in it.
Oof. That's not good, man. When the box is
That's
still there.
having a 12 or 13-year-old boy at the house. That's that.
I've
I mean,
resorted to hiding shit in the bathroom, under the bathroom sink.
wow.
Because they don't get stolen there. I can't do that ice cream, but.
Not food. You don't want food in the bathroom.
Oh, I
No.
do. Yeah, I do. I put it in there.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Pretzels,
Sitting there, you're like,
chips,
man, I'm kind of hungry. Let me
snack
get some
cakes,
beef jerky.
candy, beef jerky,
Yeah.
chips.
On the phone.
Yeah. Or put it in my dresser drawer. Yeah, no. I hate that.
No.
I don't
Yeah,
think
that's kind of funny.
she's definitely not the asshole.
No. Haha.
And
Joke's
what's
on
that?
her. All
Ice
joke's
cream
on
for
him.
breakfast?
Yeah,
All right.
why not?
All right.
Okay. It's a little long.
We'll do one more.
Am I the asshole for telling my mom to never touch my stuff again after she lost my Louis Vuitton bag?
Hmm.
No. Okay, so I, 15 female, granted, this is a 15-year-old female writing this, have always wanted a Louis Vuitton purse. Girl, me too. I've always wanted something expensive as my own, as all of my things are hand-me-downs from my older sisters, as we are not the richest of people. Eventually, I decided that if I wanted a purse, I'd get it myself. So I got a job at a local restaurant and started to save up money. Good for her.
Mm-hmm.
While I worked, I looked at purses and decided that I liked a little bag, and I quickly went and bought my bag. I didn't even let my family touch it when I got it home. I didn't even wear it for the first week as I was too scared I would damage it. One day after school, I came back home and went into my room to look at my bag. Isn't that funny? Anyway,
Yeah.
I just went to look at my bag, and when I got in there, it was gone from the place that I had put it on my desk. I looked around my room to see if it moved, and I just forgot about it. But I
Oh,
couldn't
hell
find it.
no. Yeah.
I went out to ask my sisters, but they said they hadn't touched it. So
Mm.
I went and found my mom. I asked her if she'd seen my bag, and she said that she'd shown it to her friend, and her friend had liked it and asked if she could borrow it. I'm already getting pissed.
Yeah.
My mom had said yes, that she could borrow it. I hadn't even used it.
Oh.
I hadn't even used it yet. So anyway, to say the least, I wasn't pleased by the news. I blew up by my mom telling her not to touch my stuff and that she said her friend would be okay with it as long as I was being and she said that her friend would be okay with it and I was being dramatic. I got grounded and was told to stay in my room since I was
What?
acting like a child over a bag. The next day I asked my mom about the bag and then she got an uncomfortable look on her face. Instantly I knew something was wrong. She wouldn't say anything, but after a while she'd finally admitted that her friend had lost the bag and she didn't plan on replacing it. I was furious. I exploded at her saying that she and her friends shouldn't have touched my stuff in the first place and to never touch my things again. I also said some hurtful things and I don't care to repeat. I ended up making her cry, and my sisters are calling me an asshole because it was just a bag and I was being dramatic. And that the asshole. Fuck
No. Hell no.
No, and
Now, wait a minute.
I'm crying some bullshit on it got lost because women hold on to their purses like it's their fucking life.
Yeah. That plus, it sounds like she's withholding some of the like the first time when she said she got grounded, there must have been a lot of language,
Well, that's a
yelling,
violation.
something that where she's not telling us the full story.
Maybe not, because again, this is a 15-year-old writing this, so there is going to be a lot. They're always going to just put it on as a one-sided thing. But
Right.
I really don't care. Louis Vuitton
Yeah.
bags are expensive. She
But I
worked
mean,
hard.
expensive? How expensive are we talking?
They're expensive. I mean,
Like $500?
I mean, if she got,
$200?
I'm thinking she may have just got they're in the thousands of dollars.
Oh wow!
Like they are expensive.
I was thinking of Coach bags. Theirs are, like,
Especially one, oh
$500.
no, this is like many levels above that. This is
Okay,
like the
okay.
highest of the highest. Like, and it's probably a smaller bag, but the smaller bags tend to be the more trendy ones, which means they're more expensive than like a normal, like
More
like
useful.
one that you would think of with the brown Louis Vuitton. I would be so pissed. I would be like, I need emancipation papers. Like you don't you don't respect my stuff. You don't respect like that I did that. I would be so pissed, and I probably would say some shit to my mom that I probably maybe wouldn't have needed to say.
She has full license to totally kirk out on her mom.
Yeah, and
100%.
like, I mean, I'll go into my oldest son's room and like he has his iPad and we take it away as a punishment, but he'll hide it. So I gotta go find it and follow through with the punishment.
But he didn't buy that himself.
You bought
did he?
that though.
He did buy it.
Oh.
Okay.
But
how did he buy it?
With his own money.
Okay, great.
But
so the thing is when they start getting in that when they start getting in that realm of buying stuff their own birthday money or whatever, it's still, or even their job or allowance money. Listen, you live in my house, so it doesn't matter if you purchased it on your own. If you do something wrong and it's gonna get taken.
Well, but here's the difference. His was we were not going to let him buy one, and we came up with a set of rules, which most of them we don't keep by, but we do restrict it. That's the one that we're keeping by. But this was a purse. This isn't like something she can sit up all night looking at and not falling asleep.
Oh, you can. They're
Sounds
pretty.
like she is.
Yeah.
Well, but you understand what I'm saying. All jokes aside.
Yeah.
If he's got the iPad, he'll be on it all night. He'll wait till we go to sleep and he'll play games all night. That's not a purse. A purse, what, you're gonna click the latch?
Mom's friend sounds like a major asshole. Like who just borrows their friend's kid's Louis Vuitton bag
and then loses it very frequently?
Yeah,
that
loses
mom sold
it.
that purse. That's what the fuck she did.
Yeah.
Or her mom's friend sold the purse, or she's just never gonna bring it around her mom and she kept it. But
because in the beginning of the story, she had said that they're not like they don't really have a lot of money.
Right.
So somebody sold that shit.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fucked up. That's
horrible.
The daughter
I'd be so
totally
mad.
cool.
Ooh, I'm 35 years old. Girl, if that was me and that was my Louis Vuitton bag, I'd still say some choice words to my mama. I said some choice words to Craig when he told me I couldn't have Louis Vuitton luggage.
Man.
Holy
tell me what I can't have.
If the purses are thousands of dollars, I can only imagine what the luggage costs.
Well, here's
Probably
my
not as
side.
much.
Are
they?
They're expensive, but I mean, like I said, the purses tend to be the smaller handbags tend to be more trendier, and so like they are a little bit more expensive. The luggage isn't as expensive as you would think. I mean, it's still over $1,000 in the $2,000 range for one piece of luggage, but I would not buy a brand new luggage. Like I would buy like used. So just because I'm not, I mean, and those are still in the thousands of dollars. Like you can't. Anyway, he told me.
I'm like Swiss gear. I don't need anything.
He told me I couldn't have one because my whole bag would get stolen at the airport the first time I used it.
That's possible.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's probably right.
Yeah. Well, guys, if I may.
Yeah.
I think we've been on
the plane. Yeah.
I think it's about time we wrap this shit up.
All right. Good night, everybody. comes back from his mission over in Bulgaria.
Yeah, it was
Bulgaria.
right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. You may
Toppling another government.
yeah, in the coming weeks you may hear some turmoil from that area. Just don't talk about it.
Okay.